In this video, we're going to show you how to use the IFBT application as a decision tool for making title elections between ARCO and PLC by crop. Recall that the farmer has allocated to them title acres for corn, beans, and wheat. In our case, 850 acres of corn, 925 acres of bean, and 175 acres of wheat. And each year, by March 15th, the farmer needs to determine where to put those acres, either into PLC or ARCO. There's a third option, ARC IC, which is rarely used, and our model doesn't support it. So we're making a decision between PLC and ARCO. Well, each year the farmer is confronted with that decision, and this model allows you to see under what circumstances payments are made under PLC and under ARCO, and how to compare those two, and the same for beans and the same for wheat. What circumstances, what price and yield circumstances, what are the quantity of the dollars of the payout, and it helps the farmer. Using this application, you can determine which is better for your farm, both in terms of the likelihood of payment and the dollars amounts, as well as how it might change and help you manage the overall risk profile of the farm. So I'm going to show you how to go about doing that now. As you can see, we have currently our base acres put into PLC as a placeholder. What we need to do, recall that we're going to calculate up all of the payments that might come from the various crops under the various programs, and then we divide those by the actual planted acres. So if there's a $30 an acre payment made, that will be applied to corn planted acres, bean planted acres, and wheat planted acres. And the reason for that is title decisions are completely, as you know, unrelated to planting decisions. So we need to keep those two separate. But we do need to look at a decision around corn, a decision around beans, and a decision around wheat separately to help make those decisions for each crop, because they can have very different dynamics. So the way we're going to go about that is as follows. We want to look at corn in isolation. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to zero out temporarily our base acres on beans, and we're going to zero out our base acres on wheat. Now we're looking at corn title in isolation as if all those acres are in PLC. What we're going to do is go run our sensitivity tables. When we run those sensitivity tables, the only thing we care about is title. And what you're going to see are the PLC payments that we made to this farm in thousands of dollars, based upon having selected PLC for corn as of March 10th of 2023. You need a 60% decline in price to trigger payments, and they would produce $45,000 in payments, and a 50% decline would cause us to be $105,000. You can see that's pretty far away. That would be a very, very large decline in price, and so it's unlikely that payments will be made under PLC, but you can see the dollar amounts and what it would take to trigger those prices. Now we're going to say, what if we select ARCO for corn instead? We go back to the dashboard, we go to our title elections, edit it, and now we're going to move those 850 acres out of corn and out of PLC and into ARCO. Back, repeat the process. Our sensitivity tables. Run our title, that's all we care about. And you can see here what are the payments that we made under ARCO. ARCO, as you know, is a revenue-based program. So combinations of bad prices and bad yields will trigger payments at the county level. And PLC is a price-based and only triggers based on price declines. Now you want to see the differences between those two programs. You click this box, and now you can see which one is better under various circumstances. Where the numbers here are dollars in this section, the green, that's where ARCO is paying more than PLC, and in the areas of red, that's where PLC is paying more than ARCO. So you can see it's kind of a coin flip this year in 2023. both pretty far out of the money. Now, if you look forward to 2024 crop year, many of the benchmarks are going to be changing in the favor of the farmer, and some of these decisions will be a little closer to home. And this tool will help you really understand for the 2024 crop year which one looks better, which one is better for your farm, which one is going to more likely contribute to the operations under various downside scenarios. Now let's do the same. This one's probably coin flip and both pretty far out of the money for 2023. That's what I would conclude there. Go back to the dashboard. Now let's look at, now I'm going to zero out corn. I'm going to repeat the process with beans. We're going to put our 925 title acres into PLC. Going to run our sensitivities. We're going to look just at title. And you'll see the price-based program only triggers as a result of declines in prices. For our farm, we received $16,000 at the 60% decline in price, and $60,000 at a 50% decline in price. Again, far out of the money. Now let's compare that to ARCO. Just repeating the process. We're going to move those 925 acres out of PLC and into ARCO. Repeat that process. Oops. Run our sensitivity tables. Just look at title. And we put all of our title acres into beans, title acres for beans into ARCO. This is the payment streams that would be made. And you can see, once again, pretty far out of the money from where we are today. If you want to see the differences between ARCO and PLC, you can see that ARCO pays more in these scenarios, PLC pays more in these scenarios. Probably the margin favors ARCO, but again, not a terribly critical decision because they're both pretty far out of the money for the 2023 crop year. Finally, we're going to go back and finish up with wheat. You're getting an understanding of how to go about this now. We're going to zero out the beans because we're going to look at wheat independently. Put our 175 acres first into PLC. Back to the dashboard, run our sensitivity tables. And now look at just title only. It's going to be our wheat payments. And they start to trigger at the 70% level, so a little closer in for wheat for PLC. Relatively small dollar amounts because we only have 175 base acres in wheat. We'll go back and we'll put those same acres out of PLC and into ARCO. Back to the dashboard, run our sensitivities. What we care about is title. Here you can see these are the payments that we've made. On our 175 wheat acres, had we elected them all to ARCO. Look at the differences. You can see ARCO pays more here, PLC pays more here. Once again, probably a coin flip, and once again, pretty far out of the money, unlikely to get payments this year. To reiterate, 2024 could be a very different story. The benchmarks are much improved for the farmers going into the 2024 crop year, and farmers will have this will be a valuable tool to help them evaluate selections between ARCO and PLC. Recall in our Madison County farm, we decided to choose a stack of crop insurance, a 75% revenue protection plan with SCO up to 86 and ECO taking us up to 90. Recall that in order to select the SCO part of that stack, we can't elect ARCO, we have to elect PLC. In 2023, that didn't really bother us because maybe we would have liked to put our corn and our beans into ARCO, but moving it into PLC was not a problem because it's really unlikely that they're going to get paid out. So we can be pretty indifferent between the two programs and choose our crop insurance program as we like. That might be a different story in 2024. It might be that payments are more likely and will maybe cause us not to want to use that same stack that requires us to use PLC. So there is an interplay between crop insurance, SCO in particular, and title decisions. And in 2023, I think we made ultimately very good decisions as it relates to both our crop insurance program as well as our title decisions. And that's a description of how we can use this tool for our farm to determine quantities of dollars and where they're triggered for each crop based on choices of ARCO or PLC.